It's not just a signal. It's a warning.
How's it going, Bat family? Welcome to the day we have somewhat been waiting for, because it's the day before, but you know, we're basically here, guys. The day before DC FanDome. I've got a freaking hair in my eye. Get out of my freaking eye. I can't see shit. But anyway, yes, I thought I'd do a little day before video going into DC FanDome for the Batman fans on this channel, because I think we can all agree we collectively have been keeping this hype train going for the past year since DC FanDome, and the next week of my life is going to be a very busy one. Like, if you try and create content for stuff like this, DC FanDome is very, very hard to cover all of the content that comes out for it, but please do make sure you're subscribed with the notifications on for my coverage of each panel, because I'm not just going to be doing the Batman. I will be talking about the Flash movie and Black Adam and everything like that. So a lot of you come back to this channel, as I always say, not to repeat this message too much, but double check that you are actually subscribed rather than just coming back each week and just clicking on my name or typing my name in. But guys, today I've actually got some really exciting stuff to go over as well. So yesterday, the Batman page and Matt Reeves himself has given us some more eye candy. I thought I'd give my thoughts on it. We got to hear Robert Pattinson's Batman voice again. We got to see the BATSIGNAL, as you kind of got teased with at the beginning of this video. And yes, apparently there has been another screening for the Batman, which we get even more details that somewhat back up what we've gone over before with the previous screening details. And these details really do follow suit with what we've already heard about the film. Now, when we do get to that part of the video, I do want to stress a minor spoiler warning, just in case you want to go into this movie knowing absolutely nothing. But just given my seal of approval, I would say that it's not the kind of spoilers you need to freak out about. It is stuff that we've somewhat gone over before, stuff that I've been very confident in when talking about this film with regards to speculation and whatnot, and this more or less just confirms what we already thought. So take that as your kind of pre-spoiler warning, if you will. It's not coming right now. I will warn you when we get to that part of the video. And everybody, just from Future Boba here, as I was literally uploading this video, I just clicked cancel upload. I thought I would chuck in what the Batman page on Twitter just uploaded, and probably on other respective social medias, 2 brand new posters for the Batman and Riddler. There's honestly not too much to say other than these make awesome posters. I love how the symbol is standing out on Batman there, and then with the Riddler, we have a very ambiguous, slightly blurry Riddler there in the background with a letter saying, "To the Batman." They just look fantastic. I don't want to interrupt this video too much more other than these posters look incredible. Yes, I did see them, and it's very typical that they release just as I'm uploading this. But yeah, they're freaking amazing. And just before we get into that brand new Bat content, I do want to let you know my initial plans for the Batman coverage. So last year, I didn't do a reaction. I wanted to go straight into the breakdown. But this year, there's going to be a little bit of a change. Since a lot of you are Bat fans just like myself on the channel, I can completely understand why you would want to see my reaction to that. So as I do sometimes with movies and trailers and teaser trailers, I sometimes do like a reaction and first thoughts breakdown. So what I'm going to do is record my reaction to the trailer. It will probably get copyrighted because of copyright music or whatever, but I will be giving my thoughts as well, initial thoughts, so I can just get something out there within the first hour and a half to 2 hours, and then you can expect the following day my in-depth breakdown to release. Last year I went straight into the in-depth breakdown. As I said, I did like a 17 to 20 minute video, went ham, but this time I just want to react to it. I have absolutely, I almost can't comprehend and fathom what I'm going to be like. It's probably got to be one of those videos where everyone takes the piss out of that guy on the internet, but hey, I have no shame. I am so excited for this movie, and I understand why you guys keep asking me, Boba, are you going to do a reaction? Yes, I goddamn am, and I will be giving my first thoughts, as I've said, if I can even talk, to be honest, because I expect I'm going to be fairly speechless. But after that, I will be spending the next day going ham. I mean, going into meticulous detail, as you guys can expect. So expect a fat, in-depth Batman trailer breakdown, the Batman official trailer, that is. and I can't wait to give that to you guys on the channel. But if you are, the reason why I wanted to stress this so much in this beginning half of the video is because if you're wondering where my mad in-depth 20+ minute breakdown is, that will be coming, but I just don't want to stress my ass off with getting it out immediately. But you will get something, and that will be my raw reaction and raw unfiltered thoughts, where I'm probably going to be foaming at the mouth. I don't know. And you guys can do one thing to help me out as well, and that is through just subscribing, as I said, turning those notifications on. Also as well, we're about to hit 90,000 subscribers, which is insane to me. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers, and I never really set goals for myself. You know, I always find that an interesting thing. I understand why people do it, but for me, I don't like to set myself up for things that I don't always know if I'm going to achieve, like in a certain amount of time. But 100k is something that I have been looking forward to in the back of my mind for a long time, and it's kind of crazy that we're honing in on that last 10,000 now. So thank you to everyone who's subscribed, whether it's today, the past week, the past year, especially with the midst of all the Batman content. I really appreciate your enthusiasm, which, you know, kind of bounces off my enthusiasm. I know we haven't got into the cool shit of this video yet, but I did just want to say a thank you to the Bat family, because these videos are usually very successful on the channel, and I wouldn't be making them if, you know, there wasn't this energy between me and my subscribers. So thank you for enjoying the Batman with me. So let's get into our first actual Bat content, and that was yesterday. As you've probably already been teased in this video, we got to hear Pattinson's Batman voice. Now, of course, we have heard Pattinson's Batman voice before in the teaser trailer last year at DC FanDome, and that was just him saying, "I'm vengeance." But now, guys, we actually get to hear a little bit more. Some people were like umming and ahhing, is this really Pattinson's Batman voice? I would literally lay quite a few stacks down of money that it is. I think Robert's Bruce in the movie, even though we won't be seeing too much of the Bruce Wayne persona, which I've heard before, and it's kind of matching up with what we've also recently found out. I feel Pattinson's voice is going to be fairly what Pattinson sounds like in interviews and stuff, but what he does is he lowers his voice down, but not in somewhat of a cringy way where he's going, you know, and I'm not trying to take a knock at Christian Bale there. I both like and have mixed feelings about that voice, but as I said, Pattinson does it tastefully, where it's actually fascinating. You don't, you know, usually people say you kind of need a voice modulator if you're going to be Batman, otherwise people will kind of recognize your voice. But I have to give some kudos to Pattinson here. When we hear him in his Batman voice,
it's not just a signal, it's a warning.
It is quite different from his normal voice, and you could probably argue he could get away with just talking like that in Batman mode without people suspecting. Now, that's a bit of a random tangent of speculation, but I just want to say that I'm very thrilled with just even hearing him saying it's not just a signal, it's a warning. And that is, yes! Like, honestly, there's so many things I can draw out of this, and I know it keeps up the memes of how I can talk about whatever, right? But it's true. This confirms the bat signal. We already knew that anyway. The Lego sets already confirmed the bat signal. Within those sets, I know some people weren't fully trusting that because Lego can sometimes exaggerate things, but if that was in there, we were going to get it in a movie. I was very confident about that. But what I wonder, and this is almost futile speculation, so this is just for fun, when he says it's not just a signal, it's a warning, I am very interested to see what part of the movie that's at, because with the Lego bat signal reveal, that kind of somewhat surprised me, because I thought, okay, maybe we are going to get a bat signal, but this is Batman Year 2, and you know, we kind of know a little bit about the perspective of Batman through the GCPD, the city, so I didn't necessarily expect a full-blown bat signal, especially when we see GCPD officers fire at Batman as he's grapple hooking away in the trailer and stuff. Then again, though, to kind of contrast that, we do know that Lieutenant James Gordon lets Batman come on the crime scene of the mayor's death. So it's a little bit of, oh, so it kind of would make sense and if he has a bat signal in Gotham, but then maybe not. But long story short, to kind of get to my conclusion, it is kind of fun to think, I wonder if that line is just from the end of the movie. Does the bat signal get set up then, where he's just like, it's not just a signal, it's a warning? But then again, that could be somewhat regressive of his arc, because I think the bat signal could be introduced sometime into the movie, whatever. That is when he says it's not just a signal, it's a warning. I love that because it's showing, as we know, this version of Bruce, before he goes on his arc to becoming a bit more of a symbol of hope, he is most certainly, as Matt Reeves has described, a very raw, unfiltered Batman. He's angry. I love how he kind of personifies that through saying it's not just a bat signal, basically. It serves as a mother freaking warning to Gotham City. And that's super cool because you can take the takes out of the bat signal being a symbol for hope, which is what it will turn into, but it does initially start as a bit of a symbol of fear, a warning to those, and it's always serving that multi-purpose, even in the distant future where it will be more of a symbol of hope. Long story short, again, of what I'm saying here is, this is very accurate. If anyone's getting annoyed with how it's being portrayed as a warning and not so hopeful and stuff, it is a part of the arc. We're going to see Bruce Wayne, Robert Pattinson's Matt Reeves' Batman, go through this arc of being this vigilante, but then throughout the first and second and third movie, that is when you'll see the character go from the Batman we've got in the first movie, who's a bit more aggressive, a little more walking the line of what's ethical and, you know, stuff like that, while still having his Batman code, very unfiltered, but then throughout the trilogy, yeah, you will see him learn those lessons. For example, in the first movie, he's mostly in Batman mode. It's what we've speculated about on the channel before. You know, when I said I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't even literally reveal himself to Gotham City, yet he's been, as Bruce Wayne that is, yet he's been here the whole time, just suited up as Batman. That would be so accurate to what Bruce is like when he first comes back to Gotham. He doesn't really care much for being Bruce Wayne. It's this criminological experiment that propels him forward to just want to be that every second of every day. That is all a part of the arc as well, and I can't wait to see that be touched upon, because we're going to see Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne learn to know that he has to kind of let the Bruce Wayne persona come out. So you see what I'm getting into here. It's all an arc. It's all basically a character study stretched across not only this movie, but obviously a couple more movies. So everything like this is so cool to me, and I can't wait to witness this character evolution take place, because I'm a huge fan of Batman where he's at in this first movie, kind of the more unfiltered, knowing what he wants to do, but obviously hasn't got this masses of years of experience and stuff. So that's just wicked. But then also I'm a big fan of the Batman who's also imagine Pattinson's Bruce 5-6 years down the line, who's kind of achieved a bit more of an equilibrium with everything that's going on in his mind, his mission, just everything. You know, you get what I'm saying there. Now, as for the red filter over this, I do think it's likely that it is just a red filter, but I do think it would be really dope to actually kind of put red LEDs in the movie and make that a red signal in the sky, and then eventually it could symbolically change colors, which also speaks to something larger as well, just kind of what we aforementioned with the evolution of the character. But that's neither here nor there. I do think it is likely just a red filter, but who knows. I love the rain. It's very Seven-like. As you know, that's one of the inspirations for this movie. Seven, Gotham City is probably very much so going to emulate the city that we see in the movie Seven, and just seeing that torrential downpour of rain is just like, yes, yes. But yeah, all in all, that's more or less all I have to say about it. As I said, it's probably not even at the end of the movie. I just thought it could be a cool end of the movie thing through saying it's not just a signal, it's a warning. It's established after he's beat the Riddler. The city knows a bit more about the Batman, GCPD, Lieutenant James Gordon, so they set up a signal, and that would be a cool kind of somewhat last 10 minutes of the movie scene to include, but honestly, it could be from any part of the movie. Up next, guys, we got another still from the movie. Once again, it's futile speculation in a way, but just for fun, we see Batman looking at Gotham City, and it looks like almost where he was stood, I believe in Liverpool, right at the top of that building. That would be really cool if they use this shot. As we know with what Matt Reeves has described, this Gotham City will feel familiar to you in some ways. For example, some of it is in London, but then like, it's a city you've also never seen before, quite literally, because they've merged parts of Liverpool, parts of London, parts of Chicago. So it's like matching all of these different familiar areas that really suit Gotham, combining them together in somewhat of a collage, but that also births a new place that isn't just straight up, and not knocking the visions of other films, but, you know, they might have just put you in New York, or they might have just filmed the whole trilogy in Chicago. But this time, Matt Reeves has gone through these, you know, extensive lengths to make Gotham truly feel unique, yet familiar, thus breeding a whole new kind of monster that is Gotham. And I love that. Now, in this photo, I'm not going to dive too deep into it. You know, we can't really make too much of Gotham out there. the funny thing is, you know, as I said, with like it could be a nice ending scene, like after all the bullshit that Batman's gone through with the Riddler in this movie, this could be like a nice sunrise after all the gloominess that he's been through, to kind of have a shot where he's like looking over the city. Yeah, I just done this kind of thing. And it's like a nice, somewhat reflective last, as I said with the previous thing, 10 minutes left of the movie scene to include. But as I said, this could be from any part of the movie. But I love how Matt Reeves teased us with another still that is likely from the trailer. It could even be like one of the opening shots. But once again, just point out some parallels. As Matt Reeves said as well, this movie is so point of view driven. Very point of view driven. Very deliberately so. He speaks about how he wants to use the camera to kind of put you in the mind of the character. That's why you get so many shots in the trailers that we've already got, well, the trailer last year and things like this, where you see this behind perspective of Batman. And that's such a cool way to do it. And here, once again, you see the behind perspective of Batman. And this has kind of got to lead me into what I want to talk about next with regards to the screening stuff, because it really does follow suit into everything we're talking about and more. So, as always, take it with a grain of salt. But I'm very much so willing to bet this is pretty much true. It's just nice teasery stuff, to be honest. As I said, make your mind up if you want to hear this or not. Just to disclose, I'm not a fan of spoilers. I've been offered to hear things before that I do want to know. I generally don't want to know things that would ruin things for me, and this doesn't. So let's get into this. Spoiler warning, oops, out the way. So this is coming from Vampire Anon, viewer Anon on Twitter, and he says, it seems word is out there that the Batman screened again. I've spent some time tracking down info from the last screening a few weeks ago and have confirmed details with someone who saw it last night. It's nearly a 3-hour long detective story, full-blown noir film. I mean, as I said, let's just assume this is true for the sake of the video, and I'm pretty sure it is, just to, you know, give you some faith in this. But thank you. Almost three. To anyone saying Warner Brothers doesn't like this movie, they're interrupting. As I've said, I've literally played a video clip before of Matt Reeves, yes, a few years ago, but this is when he was signing the dotted line, literally. And I know I've repeated this a few times, but I do think people need to hear it. He literally articulates that I would love to do a Batman movie, but I kind of more or less want to do it my own way. If Warner Brothers doesn't like that, that is fine. That is their prerogative. That is their, you know, these are their characters. But, you know, if I want to do it, I have a very specific vision, blah, 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 and it will... So, do you see what I mean? Like, he's always had that seal of approval from Warner Brothers. Now, I'm not trying to put Warner Brothers on a pedestal or anything, but I do feel like they are beginning to learn their lesson with regards to creative vision from directors. And I think that's been established through people like James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. You know, they've somewhat learned some of the lessons of interrupting with the early Snyderverse. Now, with Matt Reeves, it is very much so the same. If they really wanted to interfere with this movie, it'd be a 2-hour movie. It would be done that way or less, so they could have more showings in theaters. You get what I'm saying? I just wanted to kind of poke it into people that he's always had his vision with the movie. I don't think that has changed for 1 second, and he wouldn't have signed on unless he had those assurances. And I've got evidence for that as well. So just hearing that, you know, it is nearly a 3-hour long detective story, it's not really surprising, but it's amazing. Full-blown noir film. Carrying on this story here with Vampire Non, he says, story starts on Halloween and runs for about a week. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. You can kind of take the long Halloween parallels out of that, but not only that, it does make sense because behind the scenes set photos show Halloween parties happening. That's how we got the set photos of people dressed up as Superman and Wonder Woman, which is nice world building. As I said with that, because I know somebody's got to ask it, so I may as well answer it. I don't think they're going to be in the movie, but it's nice to know that Bruce is becoming Batman in this world. This is my takeaway. Characters like Superman and Wonder Woman are already known to the world and out there in Metropolis and areas, but we're not. It's very much so self-contained in Gotham, this story, this movie, but I like how Reeves is just putting little seeds out there, like a poster on a train station. Something that could easily be ignored in the background, but when we're going to see people at the Halloween parties, when Bruce is going around in drifter mode, or as Batman, let's just say 25 minutes into the movie, or 45, we're going to see some people dressed up as iconic DC superheroes that we already know. So in your headcanon, it's nice to know that they're probably not just doing that when these characters don't exist. These people people and civilians of Gotham are dressing up as these characters because they do exist. It's just, I think that's awesome. And also it's cool that, like, hey, like Bruce Wayne, Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne's only just becoming Batman, and he's got all of this ahead of him. But again, it's fairly grounded. I think it will stay away from that stuff, but it's really awesome that Reeves put that in there. So yeah, the story starting on Halloween makes sense with what we've seen from BTS photos, Halloween parties. Batman keeps a journal, which is read to the audience in voiceover. Most of Pattinson's dialogue is spoken this way, and he wears the suit for the majority of his screen time. He's just Batman with little interest in being Bruce. Again, see my aforementioned points on that. Makes 100% sense, just with the way that he will learn to probably put the Bruce Wayne mask on, but at the moment, he's just got way too much conviction in his newfound mission of being the Batman. But it's all a part of the growth, all a part of the journey, and I can't wait to see that. This is why I always explain this concept of Matt Reeves' iteration of this live-action The Batman movie, as I feel like it's going to be definitive in terms of, like, explaining, like, the most canonical, probably, journey from The Dark Knight into the Batman, or vice versa, the Batman into the Dark Knight, and what I kind of mentioned earlier. So, yeah, again, nothing we haven't really heard before. So this continues on with the Riddler is sort of a jigsaw figure. As an example, a character is locked into an explosive collar and has to solve 3 riddles in order to get a combination. Now that would be District Attorney Gil Colson. That's what we see in the Cathedral, and I think that is, yeah, I think he's referring to that. That's absolutely fantastic. Once again, stuff that we've already heard before, but it's nice just seeing more confirmation of it. And, you know, it's stuff I've actually been told before from sources. Like, I've heard for the longest time that we actually don't get to see too much Bruce Wayne in the movie, which I think will make some people very happy, and some people are, oh, I would have loved to see more Bruce. But I think everyone understands, given what I've already spoke about, why he isn't so much Bruce Wayne, because he is Batman. That is his core makeup and identity, so to speak. And then lastly, most importantly, everyone I know who's seen it really liked it. I heard it got a great response last night with a lot of suits in the room to witness it. And you know what? Doesn't surprise me. It's honestly just music to my ears. This is what I meant. That wasn't really too spoilery. I do believe that is true. And I just can't wait to see this freaking film. I'm such a big Batman fan, as you guys know, and some people think that we're getting too excited or whatever, but like, I don't see... This is so exciting. You know, be excited. I'm almost speechless. Can you guys imagine what I'm going to be like tomorrow? It's going to be insane. I think that's more or less all I want to say. I think, yeah, we've been over the photo, we've been over the signal. It's not just a signal. And now the screening, extra little bit of info. So a nice little dose of updates for you the day before DC FanDome. I do want to ask you guys to be patient with me. You know, I may not get my full in-depth trailer breakdown uploaded before all the bigger channels do or whatever, but you know, I just trust that the breakdown I'm gonna bring out, I would like to say, not blowing too much smoke up my own ass, will be a goddamn good one. It's gonna be good, because I'm gonna go ham with it. It's gonna be dissected the living shit out of, and I can't wait to get into that. And then guys, we're gonna start, this is really cool as well, season 2 of the discussion series. May as well call it a new season, right? Because season 1 was post DC FanDome last year to now. Season 2 of the discussion series starts with the next trailer up until March of when the movie releases. And you know, it's quite funny to say maybe season 3 starts after we've seen the first movie, and then we can talk about everything like that leading into the second movie. So this is something I love, guys. I love having this community on this channel, and I can't wait to experience all of this with you tomorrow. Once again, I don't think I will be live streaming. It will probably just be a pre-recorded video of me reacting to it, giving my first thoughts and breakdown, if I can even manage to do that in all my excitement. And then, yeah, expect the Batman trailer breakdown up on Sunday, at some point Sunday, probably in the evening UK time, after I've had a whole day of just drinking energy drinks and just going, okay, all right, I can see Robert Pattinson has nipple armor in this one shot, because, you know, if you change this angle, okay, hopefully no nipple armor. Anyway though, guys, thank you so much for watching. I know it's been a bit of a blabbery video, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. Let's get excited for DC FanDome. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you hit that red button. I would really appreciate that. Make sure you leave a like on this video. Make sure you let me know what you're most excited about for DC FanDome with the Batman trailer, and also the other panels as well, of course. And if you're wondering about my predictions and stuff like that, I've already done a little bit of a prediction video in my last discussion series video. That is literally my last Batman video. It'll be linked on the end card of this video, I'm sure. But yeah, I think that's everything. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you, Bat Family, in, I guess, tomorrow's video. Goodbye.